For me, I believe that home is where the heart is. You wake up in the morning, you know that you have, you can take care of your business, and that at the end of the day, you're going to a home and you're not going to sleep on a park bench.
I think about family, I think about laughter, just those little TV sitcoms, and we be in the living room cooling or whatever. So that's what I think about home, and peace and structure. Yeah.
It is your safe haven. It is your headquarters, your domain.
For me, a home is a happy place. When I come in at night, that I know I can leave the burden of the day behind, and that this is a place that brings me joy and comfort.
When I was fresh out of college and fresh out of the closet, I moved here to DC to connect with the gay community. So eventually I did find an apartment here. I didn't know how to negotiate a lease, how to get my roommate to add me to the lease, or what questions to ask. So I was paying rent, thought envelopes of cash to your roommate was how things worked. I had no idea he was in the process of getting evicted. We were getting evicted.
Opportunity for my health care, they're excellent. But when it comes to housing, I've been homeless since I've been here in DC.
Back then, we didn't actually sleep outside. We slept in bandos, and we called them bandominiums. It would be a group of us, 10 of us, and we would live in a house that nobody occupied, and we would clean the house up, fix the house up, like they were doing the movie Too Long Food. We'd get in there and like Wonder Woman, we would revamp it and make it like it was our home. But as time went on, the government started cracking down on people staying in unoccupied people's houses. So they either start boarding them up more or sending inspection people to come through. And so eventually that shut down.
There's just a lot of building new apartment buildings. There's a lot of new developments being built all over DC. And then they say that they're using these sub-units within these new buildings for affordable housing, but it's like, it's affordable to who? To who?
We are seeing the shift in this country is that it's a privilege. And so what's happening, people are looking at people with low incomes and with vouchers as undesirables. They're feeding into the populace that lives in these buildings. Oh, they're coming, and and it's this battle royal to make them feel uncomfortable.
You can't compare like a newly built building that has like a gym, a washer and dryer, a concierge, like parking in the building. You can't compare that to like what I'm currently living at, because I had a basic apartment. Like I didn't even have like a washer and dryer in my unit or a dishwasher. And it's kind of just like, you want to charge me double just because of the location.
So a lot of apartments that we can't get because of our background or like the environment we've been put in that had to survive to get there. And then when we get there to tell our story, it's our background that's holding us back. So I know that hindered me a lot. My background, I have a record, I do.
Most people that live in neighborhoods where there has been particular challenges, those challenges are not necessarily just of their doing. Their challenges is reflective of poor services. It's reflective of landlords who were considered slumlords. So who wouldn't want to improve on their life? If they want their families to live somewhere where they are comfortable and safe, that should be open to them.
Back then, they wouldn't let us in the shelters. If we came in a shelter, we had to come out of our women's clothes. And we wasn't going to come out of our women's clothes because that's who we identified as women. And we felt like we were being belittled if they would put us, if we had to come out of our women's clothes, because they wouldn't identify us as our gender, how we felt that we were. They used to house us with the men. And then you had to worry about men trying to hit on you, trying to rape you, rob you, So we felt that it was better that we slept in the park and we hung in crowds and we slept in crowds. Like it'd be like 10 of us and we have all of that, have our blankets and comforts and all that, and we slept right beside each other for protection, to make sure that none of us was harmed. Then gradually the police started telling us that we couldn't sleep in the parks anymore, that we had to move or we had to vacate or they started seriously really harassing us, and we wasn't bothering anybody.
And it's kind of just like, if I have a homophobic family, that's not safe for me to live there. Oh, well, stay with a friend or stay with a family member. You have to think about things like social capital. Like, do you have friends and family members that have space and have the resources where they can share a living space with you?
Cool, so I was sleeping on people's couches for at least like 3 months. And yeah, it was like kind of rough. Like, I just had to be in risky situations with like guys that I just wasn't comfortable with, just to make sure I have a place to stay on cold nights and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I'm still kind of at a standstill because I'm still having to transition into another place. It's like I'm moving here to move there to move there, and it's still not my own place. And as a Black trans woman and getting surgeries and operation, I need to have a stable place. And you'll never be comfortable until you get your own.
If you check with DC Housing Authority, how many of us has had to have emergency transfer moved because of the neighborhood, or getting robbed in the neighborhood, or getting beat or killed in the neighborhood, only because we're transgender women.
Your home isn't just where you're from. Your home is who you are. And being moved around is a very difficult thing. Moving an old person is like moving an old tree. It's best that you don't. And if you do, you have to be very, very careful because it might not survive the move.
Right now, a lot of people that are trying to get into different programs, and this is with the military, the VA, and out of the community, that they have to go back into the closet, and that we cannot have that. We take our authentic self and we're living as we age. Look at some of the housing that they are asking us to go into. With the compromised immune systems, we got to make sure there's not mold and mildew. We got to make sure that it is a safe and secure place for individuals to live. I love my place. This is my home. And I'm concerned because now that I'm in a place, now they're saying that I make too much money because of all these side gigs that I put together. And so I'm concerned that I'm going to have to face homelessness again or at house again because I make just over what they're calling the cutoff.
What do you do when you lose your partner? What do you do when half of your income is suddenly cut off? Inflation is eating away at everybody's income. Rents are too high. How do you maintain your place of living where you are at a time when your income is stable, you've lost a partner?
That's another thing that the government needs to look at. As a person ages and as they develop within and able to do more for themselves, that there needs to be a process that helps them go through that process. Instead of saying, okay, you make too much money, now you're out, and you got to figure out where you're going to go next.
But we have to get like policies in place and also help to destigmatize what homelessness is. I know like there's normally a lot of like shame about, oh, hey, I'm unhoused or I have the lived experience of being homeless. And it's just like,
your conscience tell you what's right or wrong. My mother used to say, it's your way, my way, and the right way. If you believe the wrong way is the right way, you're part of the problem. If you can't do the research and know that we have laws in this country that are being ignored today by so many politicians and so many people, it's time for an uprising. And I'm not talking about violence. It's time for the masses to be heard. Everything in this city and in this country has been driven by movements, and movements are people. I'm tired of people who have become at a place of comfort, not caring about people still in the struggle. Because if you don't care about people still in the struggle, you don't care about yourself. Because the struggle can come to you and knock on your door.